spreading the word. He's on a tour called You Can Kill a Revolutionary, But You Can't Kill a Revolution. He's doing a tour leading up to the 40th anniversary of his dad's death on December 4th, 1969.
Well, Fred, it's a pleasure having you here inside the Stevie Wonder Morning Thunder on Monday. And that's the first thing I want to say. I want you to talk about your book and talk about your father.
Let me say it's a pleasure to be on here with you, brother. And as Sister Dominique pointed out, we president of my organization, the POCC, a lot of people refer to as the Panther Cubs. We count on legacy of one of the most revolutionary organizations that was based in North America, that being the Black Panther Party. It's a tour that we've taken on entitled You Can Kill a Revolutionary, But You Can't Kill a Revolution. That was one of my father's, that's one of Chairman Fred's, one of his most popular statements. And we try to make the concrete connection that we don't talk about what happened in the 60s in some sort of nostalgic, abstract type of way, because the reality is a lot of the conditions that that organization and our people in general were dealing with back in the 60s, we still dealing with today, whether it be political prisoners, whether poverty, the police terrorism in our community, we still dealing with those type of attacks. So we say the only logical response is we still got to resist.
So now I want to ask you a very hard question. A very straight-out question. Did your father ever kill anyone?
No.
Never killed anyone?
No.
And why was he killed?
He was assassinated because he was a representative of an organization that instill a pride in the people to fight back on their own interests. He, under his leadership, such campaigns as the Rainbow Coalition, in which Chairman Fred organized. He took various organizations together and brought them to some point of political unity, in which the federal government itself said when the Black Panther Party existed, there was a record low what they refer to as black-on-black crime. And the reality is, his organization, they threaten a lot of people's pocketbooks, you know what I'm saying, because we know it's big business, and our people going to these concentration camps, it's big business, and our people being sent to the graveyard, and he got the people organized fighting his own interests, and that presented a big threat.
And what is the concentration camp?
Concentration camps, what a lot of people euphemistically refer to as the prisons, and I say that concentration camp because I did 9 years in them, and I know what's really going on inside those places.
Mm-hmm. So, let me ask you this. I mean, there is, obviously they're talking about this morning so many murders that happened this last weekend in this area, in this part of the United States, in California. Mm-hmm. Someone, was he a young lady, was 17, was beaten to death?
Yeah, they found her in her car in the Los Feliz area.
Kid was, little boy supposedly has been beaten to death, 7 years old, and...
Yeah.
So what do we do about all? I mean, what do we do about all of this here? Obviously, it's a heartbreak what we're seeing today, and so how do you, as a young man, as the son of Fred Hampton Sr., what do you see that should happen at this time and space, and in our communities throughout the United States? Obviously, you talk about black on black crime. You talk about Latino and black fighting with each other, Latino and Latino fighting, on and on and on and on. What about that? What would he say today, or what would happen today? Were he alive?
No, it's an emotional issue, and our response is that we implement principal coalitions and scientific relationships with various forces. In fact, right in L.A., we've been doing some work with such brothers as Sheikh Danifu with the Moors, and Trey Williams, the son of Tookie Williams, forming some principal coalitions, and we able to deal with the issues in our community, but at the same time don't negate the string pullers or the principal contradictions. Like in the 60s when Chairman Fred, he went past and just talking about this, the rivalry with the Stones disciples. He said, was later got exposed, the role that the University of Chicago, Sears and Roebuck, the role they played in creating these conditions and setting up the crime. Kind of like in Rwanda, it's easy to look at the Tutsis and the Hutus fighting amongst each other, negating the role that the Belgians and the ones who set the conditions and provide put agent provocateurs, informants in our community, and create the crime situation in there. So we got to deal with it, check our emotions, deal with it real scientifically. And in the same breath, we don't cut no corners. A lot of people, like I was saying earlier on a show earlier, people say, Chairman Fred, we see out there protesting the police. What about when there's situations in the community? So we deal with that too. We just don't have press conferences on it. And we have what we call a POCC code of conduct. Certain things is not allowed in the community. No snitching, no rape, and things of that sort. So we implement like a code of conduct that we hold people accountable to.
You say no snitching, no rape.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying no telling on whoever may have done something?
We saying that we know not going to tell Frank James or Jesse James did, because we represent the community. We see on a day-to-day basis the police bring the drugs in our community. Where the police bring people like Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas and informants and put them in our community to sell drugs. And our position is, if anybody.
Let me ask you a question. So if they believe that they do, why then? Like anything else, why isn't it confronted as saying this is what's going on? Because I'm going to take the other side. Okay,
I get you.
So it's like, so say that's hearsay that they're saying they're bringing in the drugs into the community. I mean, obviously they're getting there some kind of way. So is there proof of that?
Oh, we got documentation.
And if there's proof, then why can't one bring it forward as to that being so?
We got documentation. We got we do expose it, but it's a subject a lot of people don't want to talk about. It's a fear factor. A lot of times we don't just expose just the ones who work the police, because you'll be surprised who's in bed with this whole situation. But
I'm just saying that we live in a democracy, so why can't people just expose, if that's true, the truth? Because until it's shown to be the truth, it's just hearsay.
Well, look at the documentation on Ricky Ross that was exposed. Look at the repercussions that came down on a lot of people. Even with the white reporter Gary Webb, where they claim committed suicide later after helping expose it. When we do expose it, this government, they make moves on people for talking about this type of stuff. But we've been consistent with exposing this.
Well, we can get deep in here. I don't want to get too deep. It's trying to see what the boy throws $1,000 birthday, but. What is the name of your book?
No, we're working on with the tour. The book is coming up. We work on a book as well as a movie, which we discuss with Most Def to play Chairman Fred. And again, that's You Can Kill a Revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution. And we're going to keep you updated with that. Matter of fact, we're going to be trying to contact you for some sort of role with this the film piece we've been working on Chairman Fred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you don't want me to be shooting no gun.
No. Hey. Mr. Russell had a joke he used to say back in the day. Hey, Mr. Russell used to say, look, I ain't never donate no money for no gun. But he would go by the path of headquarters and drop a donation at the door for the Free Burgers program. So a lot of people get this image of the Panther just, guns. But the Black Panther Party was an armed propaganda unit.
Man, I really was not. I was just being kind of funny. But obviously, so my question really is the whole concept being a revolutionary and just talking about the revolution, is the revolution towards peace? Is that towards unity, or is that some fantasy in my brain?
Oh, like I said, I'll say even by the government's own records, they say when this organization was the Panthers were in existence, there was a record low to what they call black on black crime. And fast forward to today, the work that we out here doing, you can go in the South Side of Chicago, Oakland, Acorn Projects, you can. Even in Brazil, where we got a chapter based at, we deal with contradictions in the community, and we do understand there are contradictions. But the Panthers said differences amongst the people are reconcilable. However, the difference between the people and the state are irreconcilable. And we
but you're living in that state. You're living. You're living. Dominique, you're really quiet. What's that?
Well, I was just thinking, listening to what you said. We touched on this a little bit because Fred Hampton Jr., of course, coming into the world shortly after the murder of your father, of course you're going to be on a mission. At the same time, you talk about the conditions in the community and the challenges, but what is your vision beyond that? What is your vision for what we want? The vision of good, the vision of progress. And when I framed that question, I said it kind of similarly, which is, I don't think it's just some, dream world that I'm living in. I really think we can manifest the visions that we put forth for what we want, not just what we don't want. So what is your vision of what you do want?
Well, literally a situation, a society where people can produce what they consume and consume what they produce. A situation where in our community where based on your merits and your talent, you can make it, not on who's politically connected to who knows who. And I mean, it's sickening, it's disheartening to see young brothers and sisters in my community who one generation they told they had to be a football player like O.J. Simpson, next one had to be a rapper like Michael Jordan, the next one had to be a rapper like Nelly. Something we can have some sort of say-so in what we want to do in our lives.
But kind of isn't that the responsibility of the mothers and fathers in the community? Isn't that kind of their responsibility to encourage and inspire? I mean, it's not just the responsibility of the teachers or, you know, just because they watch television or watch videos. I mean, isn't it kind of, don't we as parents have a responsibility in all this stuff?
No doubt about it, but the same thing is the objective reality that you can say what you want to inside the home, but when them children go outside them houses and they dealing with a situation with people forcing drugs on them, and they in a situation where these are set occupations that they only get dilapidated schools. I mean, Chicago, I mean, I'm sure in L.A. and everywhere else, the situation of colonial schools in our community. It's good. It's one thing for the parents to say, you know, instill some good values, but kind of like Marcus Garvey said one time, a lot of times when poverty comes in the front door, morality leaves out the back window. You know what I'm saying? So we want to set a society where, I mean, if you put Martians in the condition that our people are put in, ain't no telling what they'll do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are not. We say
Martians.
If you put Martians in the conditions that they got us living in, ain't no telling what you'll see. You know what I'm saying? What they'll be going through. So I'm saying, we said non-independent people don't make independent decisions. I said earlier, we so powerless as people, we can't even choose whatever drug we're going to be strung out on. And that's embarrassing.
Well, you know, we can get really... Don Amici. He just split up.
Step down for a moment.
Yeah. Listen, we can get really, really deep with this thing because it is something that we constantly discuss. But I think we've got to get to some kind of place where we talk about it, not just talk about it, but do about it. But I want to just thank you, Fred, for being inside of Stevie Wonder Morning Thunder $1,000 Monday. Really.
Well, let me thank you. You know, so again, because I know the stuff that we talk about. These are not no quote unquote safe subjects, and I just want to, again, thank you for giving us the opportunity just to reach so many listeners.
Listen, I'm not scared.
Right on.
It is 7:31. You're inside of Stevie Wonder Morning Thunder $1,000 Monday. Look out! It's amazing. Don Amici, you've been kind of quiet. Have you listened to what we're talking about?
I've been listening.
Okay,
I'm soaking it up. Absorbing it.
Okay. I wanted to say to you, we have Fred Hampton here, Fred Hampton Jr., and his father, Fred Hampton Sr., who was assassinated, was killed in 1969 while he was in his bed by the police. He was head of the Black Panther Party there in Chicago. And Fred Hampton Jr. is doing a tour talking about, I guess, his father, and he's planning to write a book. Is that correct? Am I right on everything I'm saying?
Book. We're going to use every outlet possible to get the word out.
And we were having a deep discussion. If you missed it, you missed some deepness. You did. Because obviously, my thing has always been, okay, but at the end of the day, for me, it's like, okay, our responsibility is our community. We see all these, every other corner there's a liquor store. Yeah. Now there's the little marijuana stores they have. Dispensaries. And so my thing is basically, I think that we have to control our community by doing great things. And we have to cut look, the foolishness has to stop. Because when the foolishness stops, then, you have more room to say, this is definitely what has happened, and this is what definitely has happened over here, and all that. And you can point specifically to a situation and say, yes, this is fact, this is exactly what's going down. These people did come in our community, and they did do this. And that person did do that, because we don't do that in our community. But for as long as there's a space, this is my opinion. As long as there's a space for question what really, really happened. We're dealing with a situation now, the very, very untimely death of Michael Jackson. I hate the mystery in all of it. I really do. And I just think that, everyone has to be accountable. Everybody. So that's a whole nother thing. But you're going to be speaking here in L.A.?
We just got through coming out of Chaos Network and also IMX Books. So we headed back to the Bay Area today, and we're going to be hitting all the places where the Black Panther Party had chapters at. And I just want to say again, revolutionary appreciation. Send a shout out to the Oscar Grants and Dante Storrs, DeAndre Bronston's and Sheikh Danifus and the Freeman Brothers and the members of the Black Panther Party of the LA chapter. And keep your heads up, your eyes from the fist clench. And let's be very clear. Anybody going to say what's but us? If we believe the government won't stop crime, we believe Don King won't stop boxing.
Well, I just want to let you know, my thing is, has always been about unity, and it's been about peace. And whatever organization, whether it be the White Panthers, Black Panthers, skinheads, whatever, any of the groups. I mean, my thing is, I've never been about hate, and I'm not saying that you're about hate.
No, we about love. We love the people. That's what motivates us.
I'm saying that, and people need to understand exactly where and what we're doing, because as I said in we were playing the song by Donald Lawrence earlier, if we understand that, for those of us who are Christians, but whatever faith you might be, you've got to, know that to be in this world, to have an opportunity to live in this world, you have to know that that's the first blessing, and no one should deny you the natural blessing of life that God has given all of us. No one should be denied that. And we should do everything we can to make sure that we have the right to live and be free as it was meant to be. For those who are Christians, as you believe that Jesus died for our sins, we cannot live forever feeling that we have to continue to pay. We have to live and love and give. But that's my opinion.
Just want to reiterate, man, hey, I appreciate you for having us on here, and our motivation for what we do, our struggle, is we have a deep, committed, undying love for the people. And we, as Chairman Fred said, we love the people because we love the people, and we're willing to pay, and a lot of times we have paid the ultimate price for fighting for liberation of our people.
Well, thank you so much for being inside of Stevie Wonder Morning's $100,000 Monday. And I'm sorry you can't win that $1,000, but you have a life, and, carry peace.
Don't worry, I'm gonna win it. We gonna split it, okay?
Hey.
Okay, I want to hear Melanie, who looks far better than both of you all, sing this song.
Okay.